I started my own searches out here with these beautiful, beautiful, wonderful Hawkeye volunteers that can find things. And passionate people. That's the reason why you're looking. You're not just out here strolling and trying to make friends or things like that. People out here because they actually see that my son is missing and I need to find him, and they're actually looking on the ground. So when I see people find things like that, it's very encouraging too because that means they're actually looking. Because I would have walked right over it if you're not looking really hard. So that's why it's important to really be looking. So now I'm just looking around the area and see if I see anything else that we could have missed. Even with a line search, sometimes that's the reason why we'll go over it twice, grids too, and that's another reason why things take longer out here. I mean, like a possible bone. No, that's a rock. Um, but then again, no, that is bone. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's bones. You probably can see that. It's one right there, two in clusters right there. Something's eating. Two are here. I'll try to get the camera right, but then you got one over there. So someone's under this tree eating that, and I can almost guarantee that mountain lion. But I have to, because of that proximity of that cell phone, I'm gonna have to mark this too. So hold on a second. And the beautiful part about this Gizla is this is on federal land. Right now we're on federal land. This is not Buckeye, Arizona land. Their jurisdiction. Is what I'm saying. This is on federal land. So if this phone turned out to be in relation to my son, um, definitely would be in my ballpark because I have so many different ways that will say the FBI should be in my son's case. That's another wheel. I think we have another wheel over here. Uh, I haven't seen this structure before, and it's a bit tired. We find all kinds of things out here. Of course, oh yeah, that's a wheel. Oh, they threw trash on it and they put a bit tire on top of it so somebody can't get in there. You see that? And look at that, it's deep. Oh, that's deep. That's very deep. But I doubt if they threw somebody in there. I hope not. But that's strange. But anyway, this is the kind of stuff you find out here. Wow, I didn't know this was here. So all this time is out here, and I wish I could send the light down there, but I can. Woo! Yeah, it's really deep. It's a big echo. But they put this big tire on it. I doubt if we can move that. So I don't think we can move this little chunk right here, this hard part of it. Oh yeah, that's heavy. Um, Got to figure something out. And I think this is private land, so I think we're trying to get out of here fast because, yeah, this is new territory. I haven't been here before. So when I look around, I didn't look up for a while, so now I'm looking up. I see that is not deep at all, so I can see the bottom of that. But, oh man, there's another area I got to search because of that. I'm gonna come back there and try to put a pipe camera down in there and see what's at the bottom. If it's water down there, and go in the water. So you saw that? I never seen this before. I don't forget what you call them. I don't know. But I brushed against one of those before. Wasn't paying attention. I was trying to. As a volunteer was riding with me in the Razor on the passenger side, and one of those was on the passenger coming. We was going through some brush, and I was trying to keep the brush from hitting them on the arm. As we passed by, and so I kind of pull over to the left a little bit, try to keep it avoid the, watching out for the volunteer. Make sure my volunteer was okay. Not mine, but the volunteer is okay. I had to change my wording, but um, and I pull over two corners. I didn't realize one of those right there was on my side, and the Razor just brushed it, and those needles in that thing. If you look at it, there's needles in the thing that's literally shot out of it, and it shot all on the side of my arms, all on my It's my arms on my side. I mean, it's everywhere, you know. And it took me forever to get the thorns out of me. It's like pulling, like you need a pair of pliers almost to pull them out, you know. It was really painful. So the whole search, I didn't say anything to anybody, but I was in some pain. I was in pain. I was itching and in pain at the same time. Like, oh my God! And it's and these right here is even worse. They'll throw thorns at you too. So you got to be careful with those. I don't play around the end of that type stuff. So, but the one time we found that the remains over there by Sunvalley Parkway, and it still had the marrow on it, it's fresh. And it's like we sent it just like we do normally, and they came back and said it was animal bones. And I got really uptight about it because I got tired of keep saying it's animal bones. So I demanded them to send it to the Maricopa. So we sent a copy to Maricopa. We sat out there for 3 hours though, but came back all human bones. Now imagine that we just walked off like we're doing now and left the person on the ground. Yeah, so they turned it to a crime scene. So that's what they do. They call out everything we find animal bones, especially the ones we have people out here that know the difference between animal and human. I don't know now, so that's why I'm taking this picture. But you know, imagine we would have followed that. That's what I'm saying. That was somebody's family member, you know.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming in this morning to join the Q&A. I am David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. My son went missing out there in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. He's a geologist that graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, where he came out to Phoenix, Arizona, following his career and his dreams. He landed a job immediately with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. They hired him on as a field geologist. They also call him a hydrogeologist. He went missing on June 23rd after he went to one well site early that morning. He went into a second well site off of Sun Valley Parkway in Cactus Road area. He met another worker out there on the road itself. They had a brief conversation. He followed that worker down to the well site where those two were the only two at that well. According to this worker, they had a brief conversation, about 10 minutes of a conversation, a little about the weather. He put in examined my son, saying that he was looking acting odd and strange. He even examined his eyes and was able to determine if his eyes was dilated or not. And also after that conversation, my son somehow waved at him, got in his vehicle, and just drove off where he was never seen again. Sometime after that, this worker said that he left that job site and started following my son's tire tracks. He stayed to the left of him because he didn't want to disturb him when he noticed him. Of course, he saw him because it was raining that day and washed all the other tracks away. And on the sole track was there as my son's vehicle's tracks. And that he followed those tracks. He stayed to the left of it, like I said, to make sure he didn't disturb it because, the police was coming, going to be coming looking for him, and that this thing was going to turn big and go national. He made it to this gate. He went through a gate area, went to another mile or so. After he got past that gate, drove looking for my son, following these tracks. And then he got out on foot and walked over a mile or so. And he got up on the hill and looked out over the hill area. Because in the desert out there, there's a lot of hills, there's a lot of valleys, there's a lot of ravines and things like that. He got up on the hill to search to see if he could see my son. He didn't see it, walked back and started painting rocks red with red paint so that the officers can know where to come look. After that point, my son has never been seen again. And about July the 19th, his vehicle did show up on the 19th. There's a rancher who has a testimony, a sworn testimony, not sworn, but actually a recorded testimony that he was there in that area 2 to 3 days prior to July the 19th when he found the vehicle, and that vehicle wasn't there. And because he was on this very ravine that my son's vehicle was found in, his cattle travels through that ravine to get to a corral that is it's south of this area where this vehicle was found. So he know that vehicle, those cattle didn't show up there. And one of the reasons he expanded on that is because he know his cattle. If that vehicle would have been there, his cattle would have stopped. They would have been messing around with the vehicle. There would have been cow feces all over the place because they would have hung around for a while. They would have been digging in the pile of clothes that you see right here behind me. They would have been ripping that vehicle up. They've been licking the vehicle itself to get the salt content off of it. And they would have been trying to get that water that's in those 2 cases of water that was in the vehicle. So those are some of the reasons why he know that it definitely wasn't there the 2 to 3 days before, and then it wasn't there, in time. So he was giving us some examples of that. He said he's a 4th generation cattle rancher and that he know his land. He's been raised out there. And not only that, he thought the vehicles were very clean. It was too clean at the time when he found it. He said he's out there in the desert all the time. Anything out there, they find vehicles out there. Sometimes people take vehicles out there and abandon them. And those vehicles normally are very dirty because, when it rains, it gets very dirty. Now, according to this worker, when my son was missing, it was a lot of rain. When I checked the weather forecast, it says it wasn't that much rain at all. But let's say it was a lot of rain. The rancher kind of pointed out that this vehicle is in the ravine, Mr. Robinson. If a lot of water goes through that ravine, if you think about it, it's a vein. That ravine right there behind me, it dumps out into the Hassayampa River. And he's right. If water was flowing down that ravine, we would have seen debris and everything brushed up against the vehicle. But it wasn't no vehicle brushed up because the vehicle wasn't there. So it's a lot of things like that that were determined to say, hey, that vehicle wasn't there. But that's even with all of that, the Buckeye Police Department feel the vehicle. My son crashed that vehicle the day it went missing. He didn't have any injuries when he crashed his vehicle there. Even though there was some impressions in the windshield that came from the outside, the sternal area of the vehicle that didn't come from that terrain. It's red transfer paint that didn't come from that terrain. And also, they believe that even though he didn't get hurt in the crash, that's more violent than some of the crashes I've seen on the road where some people actually died. And he didn't get hurt, but he had a severe brain injury. But with his superhuman strength, he was able to kick out through his sunroof, get out of his vehicle. And because of that head injury, he shredded his clothes off. So you see this clothes sitting here on the ground behind me in that picture. That is my son's clothes. Everything's wearing on his body. His boots is another foot away. South of that pile of clothing, his safety vest is 1 foot away. North of that clothing, and the other boot is tucked on the front end of the vehicle. So, but they have me to believe that that's what happened to my son. He had severe brain injury, most likely. He shredded his clothes and he went up on a tree somewhere to cool off, where he probably succumbed to his injuries, and the wild animal could have got him. Later, they responded on it and say one of the detectives felt that his theory is that just like some other lady who joined to be a nun, my son probably had left his family. He did all of this because he wanted to leave his family so bad, and I guess staged that, and that he wanted to join the monastery and become a monk. So because of that, and I am a father who can think outside the box, despite my own feelings and my own knowledge of my son. I did have a monastery that was not too far from there. Check, only because of the rhetoric that don't make sense from this department. Excuse my phone. I meant to turn my sound off, and I also get calls all day, so my phone constantly rings and things like that. So, so thank you guys for coming out this morning. That's my spiel of a little bit of what for you guys, for everybody who haven't known anything about my son's story. There's more details to that. Some details that along that line that I don't ever say. Some of the stuff is just things that says over and over again. I can tell you it's very hard to keep repeating these things, but there's more details to that story that never ever come out. But a little bit here and there, I'm able to give you a little bit more about my son's, what happened at the scene and things like that, and some of the testimonies that didn't make it into the police report. As I promised you guys before months ago, it's very hard to put that stuff together. But especially with time, it's trying to get a timeline of everything, events, and put my own report together to go along with the the several Buckeye police reports that I have. So that we'll be talking about everything that happened from a timeline perspective. But I do want to remind you guys to look on the Buckeyes website. Well, I'll leave that part out. But anyway, just thank you guys for coming out this morning and sharing your time with me. I will have Mr. Evan Short coming on at 7 o'clock. So if you guys want to hang in there, he's my search coordinator / logistics coordinator. He's doing both jobs. I have once before had a search coordinator, and Evan, he was the logistics part of the searches coordinating. And so, of course, I had to move on from the first coordinator. And so we have Evan taking in both parts, working on trying to make sure we get both of those parts filled, because him and his wife have been working very hard. They don't get time off and things like that. When I say don't have time off, they literally been at every search for months. and I really appreciate all the hard work they've done. They never complain or ask for anything. I need to get that phone, the volume turned off, but thank you all again for being here this morning. I would start off by thanking everybody who's in the comment section. If you guys have any comments, please put the word comment there first, and then followed by your question. Put the word question there first, and then followed by your question. That way I can go down the comment section and see your questions. So I want to say, first of all, thank you, Shelby, BYGC, for being here this morning. Thank you, Minnie, for coming out this morning, spending your time here. Thank you also, Nikki, for being here this morning. One of the Grizzlies, I guess. Thank you for being here. Also, Genetic Jeannie, thank you. I have seen your name before, so I'm assuming it's your first time. Thank you for coming out and spending time with me here on this Q&A. I need as much people as possible. Thank you, Leanne. Sure. Oh, thank you, Leanne. I'm just speaking about you and your husband. Your husband will be on this morning. Thank you for all your hard work that you do in the background, especially with the searches and things like that. I would appreciate you on those lines. Keep those lines straight. Also, thank you, Gisela from Grizzly True Crime. Thank you so much for all the things that you do also in the background, helping me, especially with this YouTube channel. I keep saying it over and over again. I say it over and over again because I'm very grateful and I know your talent. A lot of people don't know how much talent it takes to be able to put a YouTube channel together, and especially one that you have. So it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of passion and dedication. I know the way that you approach your cases that you cover with passion and love when you do it. So I'm really grateful how you treat my son's case when you had me on your show, first teaching me, before teaching me about having my own YouTube channel. So I'm really grateful for you for all of that. So I'm all going to continue to say that, and I really thank you. And also thank you for being a friend. Thank you, Yunu, for being here this morning. Good morning to you. And thank you for all the passion that you have in the background, helping, especially with trying to make sure we get the funding needed to get this forensics work done, for instance, to continue, so I can continue to be here and fight for my son. I really appreciate everything, being a moderator in the comments and things like that. So thanks so much for the phone calls, everything you do. Again, the petition is at 108,104. We're trying to get to 150 this time. And like I said, I'm really grateful for the 108,104 because I remember when I only had 10 signatures. So God has been blessing since that time. You all have been really signing that petition. Again, if you guys want to sign the petition, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and go on to sign the petition. It's at the top of the screen. You'll see it there. And if you have multiple email addresses, you can sign it multiple times. And the reason for signing that petition is also, like I said, because I need to get this forensics work done. And when I have the forensic work finished, your signatures will be the backbone of everything I'm doing here. Your backbone, you guys come here for a reason. You come here to support me in my efforts to find Daniel for a reason, because you see the passion. You see the passion in it. We need to find Daniel. We need to get this departments and whoever, the FBI involved. So your voice is heard. When those petitions, you see the 108,104 are voices. There's voices of everyone who has a say-so of what's going on in my son's case. And that's the reason why I have a Q&A, because you guys have a say-so, and I like to answer some of your questions and things like that. So you are the 108,104 is your voice, and it's also my voice too. So when people together, we do things together, we're strength. So strength, togetherness comes strength. So thank you so much for signing that petition. Thank you, Minnie Truck, for being here this morning again. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gina, for being here. Thank you for everything you do. Also, and getting those flyers out and things you do in the background. I really appreciate all your support and all your help and help. So thank you, Nikki, for being here this morning. I believe you said already. Thank you, Barry, for being here, and thank you for everything you do. God bless you, and thank you for everything. I just can't say it enough. My gratitude for everything you do with everybody else in the back. So thank you so much. Also, Minnie, I think I said it again. Thank you for being here. Lily, thank you for being here this morning. I can't remember your name, so I don't know this first, but thank you so much for being here and showing up through this Q&A from YouTube. I really appreciate that. Thank you, INX. I don't want to say the name incorrect, so thank you for being here this morning along with everybody else in this Q&A. Again, if you guys have a question, please put the word question there, or a capital letter Q, or a big giant question mark, something where I can see where your question is as I'm coming down the comment section. Right now, I'm just thanking everybody for being here. But if I see a question, I will stop. I will remind you that I have Mr. Short coming on at 7 o'clock this morning, and we're going to be talking about some of the search efforts that we're doing tomorrow, and also everything else on that front. So please stay in at 7 o'clock if you can. He will be here for a while to discuss, and then after he leaves, I will continue on with the Q&A and answer more of your questions. So thank you again for bearing in with me on that. Okay, thanks to Phil for being here. Thank you for being part of the team. All your hard work in the background. I appreciate you. Good morning to you. And I really appreciate all your hard work and the connections that you bring in this whole thing. So the whole organization. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Also, thank you, Brooklyn Michelle, for being here this morning. Appreciate you taking your time out. Also, thank you, Nu, for putting that up. Multiple ways to help. Please donate and sign the petition. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can find all kind of ways to help this effort to find my son. It's more than, if you was here, you guys are just here. God forbid if you ever go through what we're going through as families. When I say families, everybody who have a missing person, you think of all kind of ways that you can, what I do, ways I can better search for my son and keep people involved and things like that. So that's what this whole thing was. I've been doing this since June the 26th last year. And, all thing I'm doing is learning as I go. Things are getting better times, but, mentally is always rough over the time. But, just getting the knowledge and being able to one day help other people, that is always key too. So, all the stuff from signing that petition, things that we talk about, whatever's on that website, everything is very crucial and important to what I'm doing out here. And I can't lack nothing out of it. So I really do thank you guys for your help. Also, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. And if you can also, think you can hit a bell so to give you some alerts. So whenever I do come on, if you don't want, so you won't miss anything. But thank you so much if you hit that like, share, and subscribe to help the algorithm get this channel out a lot farther. Thank you also, Shauna, for being here. Thank you for being part of the team and working hard in the background and keeping things organized and everything that you do on your end. I really appreciate your hard work and your efforts and everything. I'm really grateful for everything. So thank you again. I believe I had many before, but thank you again, Minnie. So thank you for being here this morning, coming out to the Q&A. Also, let's see if I got anybody else. But thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Again, thank you, Elaine, for being here this morning. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you for all your hard work. And thank you for keeping those line searchers out there in the desert. You do and Eggsy. Thanks for Eggsy. Eggsy is our search mascot. And, really thank you, Elaine, for everything you do. Everything, your hard work out there in the desert. A lot of people can't, it's a lot of work. And I really appreciate the work that you do. So I really appreciate it. And God bless you for that. Also, Gymnastic 101. Thank you for being here this morning and coming out here to share your time. And let's see. Okay. Thank you. And I'm hoping to hear that also my son is found too. And, that's my whole goal for being here is to find my son. And, like I said, I'm not going to stop until I do. So I'm really pushing really hard. You guys are pushing really hard with prayer and support and everything else alike. And, we're going to get this thing together. We're going to do this together. So thank you, Cassandra Lee, for being here this morning. Really appreciate your time. Karina, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for signing that petition. Thank you for the love from Sweden. All right. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. You follow Grizzly True Crime, so that means that you're a Grizzly. And I really thank you for the Grizzlies who's coming out this morning and sharing your time. So thank you for reaching out from all the way from Sweden. And thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate your time and I'm grateful for it. So thank you also, Jitterbug. for being here this morning. Good morning to you. It's nice to see you too. Thank you so much, and I love you back. I love you too. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for saying that. That's really nice of you. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Also, I have Sophia Bright. Thank you for being here off of YouTube. You hear the support. I really appreciate it. I need that support, and you guys continue on supporting. I mean, just even hearing the word support and what you guys are, and those nice comments and things like that. That helps out my morale and keeps me going. So also thank you for that. Hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications. There you go. That helps me. And you all are YouTube creators and content creators. And like I said, I'm still gathering everything to YouTube channels and things. So thank you again, Yunu, for reminding me of that. Karina, I believe I said it before, but thank you again. Thank you for being here. And let's see who else I have before I get to this end. Yes. So what I want to tell you guys, if you have a question, hit the question, put the word question there first, followed by your question, or hit the big Q, and then have your question, and I get to you. But I will be bringing on Mr. Short in 2 minutes. So I want to say something in the 2 minutes, and then after we finish with Mr. Short, we'll go back to the questions. So, of course, this is anonymous tip line right here behind me, strolling on the bottom of the screen. If you guys heard something, hear something, say something, it's right there for you. That number is 24 hours, 7 days a week. They have live operators take your call. And if you want to stay anonymous, they will allow you to do so. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you can also hit the text the word tip to that phone number, and the same form will come up, and you don't have to speak to anybody. You just to go ahead and do it all yourself. You can stay anonymous, or you can be non-anonymous. But if you guys have any comments and things like that you want to share, you think is relevant to how I should search, or persons that I need to reach out to, or you think I should go search here for Daniel, or you have a feeling, or what the case may be, contact me on that number below on the screen. I'm sorry. Contact me on the screen number that's stolen on the bottom. That is my public cell phone number, and you can get in touch with me. I do tell people that if I don't get to you right away, that's because it's an influx. But I do get to. I make sure I speak to everyone who do contact me there. So rather, if I have to call you back from a voicemail, work on that too. So if you want to leave a tip on that number, for whatever you don't want to give it to the tip line, you want to give it to me, you can do it there also. But I can warn you that it's not anonymous if you do it that way, unless you're using some type of burner phone or something. But other than that, I can't provide it unless you use the tip number that's located behind me. Also, please help find Daniel.com for any and everything that you need according to the search. But I'm gonna go ahead and Mr. Short, bring them in, and then we're going to go back to the Q&A after. So thank you so much for good morning, Mr. Short. I really appreciate you being here this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Robinson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Still,
Happy Friday.
Get my phone to shut up, and then I'll be okay. Even better. Yeah. So, how's I say today's going well?
Yeah, doing pretty good. We had a really good meeting last night. My brain, when after we get done talking, my brain won't shut off. So I was up late last night, thinking about searches and stuff. So
yes, I know that feeling. Yeah, we get that brain get to rolling, and it seems like it don't stop.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get everybody an idea of things that we're going to be doing tomorrow. I've been decided to have the searches every other Saturday. So meaning that we're going to have the search tomorrow, but we're going to skip next week and then keep going that way until further notice. Also, I want to make sure everybody know that we rolled the time back 1 hour, and that's only because of the weather. So we can talk about those things. I'm running my mouth and I'm talking about everything, but I wanted to kind of let everybody know about those type deals.
Yeah, it's starting to get hot out. So we're rolling out the search back an hour. 6:45 is we're going to start gathering up and do a safety briefing. At 7 o'clock, we'd like to start out on the towards the search area. We'll just rally up right on Centerville Parkway, make sure everybody gets there, and then we can head back to the search area. I actually have a little bit of let me show you the map here. So let's see. There you go.
Oh,
All right.
good.
So we've got
We kind of
a
lost
little bit of search area. So much technology, right? Okay,
That's
so
right.
covered a lot of the search area. Sun Valley Parkway I've got here, where, you know, we'll be rallying up here off the Sun Valley Parkway. We'll be driving back. We've been doing a lot of the search area here. There's a little grid by where the power station, if anybody's familiar with the way of the map area, there's the power station and then the little water retention basin. We used to call it a quarry, but I was corrected by a geologist. It's a water retention basin.
Water retention basin, yeah.
Yeah, so this is where we usually rally up down here, and we've been conducting a line search up to where this this fence line's at. And then there's this wedge. We want to clear this out, and this will essentially from the area around from where the where the vehicle is located, just west of the water retention area. This is like walkable distance, right? So this is one of the theories that we've been exploring on the different searches. You know, Daniel was at the vehicle. It's one of the theories. Daniel was at the vehicle and went for a walk afterwards under whatever circumstance. This is one of the areas that we're wanting to clear. And then in addition to that, if anybody has side-by-sides, ATVs, you know, off-road vehicles that can make it across the wash safely, we have some areas on the west side of the Hassayampa Wash River that we want to get those team members over. And we've got some very experienced team members that can guide everybody over. I can also give them the GPS coordinates, and to use the Gaia GPS app, I can share a grid map where I'd like to have people searching over in those areas.
Okay, yeah. And, you know, again, with the safety briefings, you know, we feel like that's a very important, which it is a very important element that we have to do when we first come onto the searches. And that's why I encourage anybody who want to come out to the searches, to please, you know, be there at 6:45 in the morning. Please, by all means, try to make sure you make the safety brief. I know sometimes we run late. I even had instances where I ran late, especially coming off I-10. They surprise you a lot of time with that closures of the whole entire interstate or something on one side.
Yeah.
So that kind of can happen. So, well, we do try to wait around. Sometimes we end up starting late, 15 minutes or so late because of that. And we have to try to make sure everybody get that safety briefing. So the importance of safety briefing, I want to expound about that a little bit. If you can kind of give us a little outline of what we talk about in the safety briefings.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more than just, you know, drink some water, you know, look out for holes in the dirt. You know, it's a little bit more than that. It's also the methodology that we use to keep track. We explain the area that we're going to go search. You know, I've got a flyer here that it has, and I'm gonna have to change this a little bit because I had a text number that when people got there, they would check in by text message, and that would let me know that people were checking in and also checking out. So at the end of the day, before we leave, before Leanne and I leave the desert, we always check to see, has everybody texted out? And if they haven't, we call them to make sure if we have 50 people coming in, we have 50 people coming out. You know what I mean? Right. And then also, you know, the second most important thing besides the head count is if we see something, the instructions on how to properly update that. So it's like right here, submit the information, nice QR code for lazy people like me. I can just take a picture and thank you. You know, submit that information. So it's got to go through the website, right? So you can upload the photos anytime. So I use the Gaia GPS app, and I'll show you exactly why. I'm going to take another moment here, David, because
oh no, take your time.
I want to show people. So that on the Gaia GPS app that we use this application to track, you know, where everybody's hiking, and that's the data that I use to keep track. So you can actually take a photo. So I can take a photo, And then what I could do is I can go to my saved items, go to this photo, and then right here it shows the GPS coordinates. And I'm showing you where I live now. Don't look this up.
So it's
Okay,
blurred.
so you can blur this out in post. So you can actually go right to the GPS coordinates and click copy. And then from there, you go right to the submit photos. So when you take a photo, it saves it to your phone. So now I can click on choose photo. I can choose my photo that I just took. And now I can paste in the GPS coordinates. And then I can submit the info. And that information goes directly to Mr. Robinson, his investigators, and also the Buckeye PD. That's the most important thing.
Right, and that's one of the, like you said, when you said that's the most important thing. We definitely, you all know it's no secret, my relationship with the department, but it is definitely something that need to be done. So when people come out to the searches, that information need to go up there. We're not the authorities. I'm out just searching for my son. We're just grassroots volunteers get together.
Right.
We go out and find these things. We're not expert to determine if they're animal or human. But as you know, it is a desert. Most of them are, everything mostly are animal remains. But there's a lot out there. You got things eating things out there in the desert all night. As we speaking, the things are eating each other. So we're going to find a lot of animal remains out there. But the whole goal is to make sure that we have those things documented because we're not the experts. And those things definitely need to go up to the Buckeye Police Department, also to my investigator, because I am on the ground searching for my son. And those things have to be documented from my investigator standpoint as a record, and also for him to be able to identify the remains. And myself, I have to have my own record keeper. This is my efforts to find my son, and definitely those. So it's very important. I'm just reiterating what you're saying, and those are the most important part of the reason why we have everybody. If you come out to the searches, yes, follow those instructions. Ms. Evans, Mr. Short. Do have those mechanisms with the flyer, like I said, and information there how to upload using the Gaia. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Also, lastly, Mr. Short, I'm not going to take up a whole lot of your time because I know you have other things to do also. But lastly, the weather. We was talking about the weather, how the weather's changing. Also, make sure that the importance of staying hydrated. Also, the importance of the battle buddy system that we always use because we both military. And kind of talk about that a little bit. I know I asked you a lot, but if you can talk about that kind of stuff in that and the reasons why we have those things in place.
Yeah, I'm sorry you were cutting out. What did you want me to cover?
Yes, we're out there in the desert, the heat. So we always in that safety brief we talk about the heat. We talk about the importance of staying together as a team, because we are a family out there. But I want to kind of expound on the reasons why and what is the dangers and things like that out in the desert, and the reason why we have those things in place where we're working together and we're not doing rogue type movements out there. So
right, yeah. Mr. Robinson and I, for the audience, we're in the Army, not together, but same green family, as we would say. Yeah. And there's a term and an expression that we had in the military is you have a battle buddy, and you never leave your battle buddy. You always work because you never want to be alone. It's going to be, I believe, around 86 as a high, which sounds pretty nice, but when you get out there and that sun's, there's no shade.
Right.
There's very little shade where we're going to be at, and it's a hot 86, especially if you're walking out through the desert. That's why it's extremely important to stay hydrated. Drink water, stay alert, stay alive. All sorts of different little Army slogans we could say here, but it's extremely important for that battle buddy system is that you are never alone out there. Like I said earlier, if we have 50 people in, we want 50 people to go out.
That's right.
It's beyond like lawyer talk and liability. It's like, Mr. Robinson, you've always said that it's a family, and we want to make sure that family's safe. if like I hurt my ankle a few weeks ago, and so we want to make sure that if anybody has any issues, any medical issues, any allergies. I was listening to a search and rescue podcast where it was one of the searchers actually got stung by a bee and had anaphylactic shock and had to be medevaced out. We have to think of all sorts of situations, and this is why we need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and also keeping an eye out on your co-searcher to make sure everybody's safe out there. So 50 in, 50 out. Whether it's 10 in, 10 out, 50 out, 50 in, 50 out. That's we're each other's search buddies and part of the Robinson family, search family.
That's right. And we don't try to make sure one thing we said, we don't need a search party searching for have a search party. Right. You know what I'm saying that.
Just one search party on a weekend,
that's
please.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. That's right. Also, with the line searches, the importance of line searches, with the line searches, that's when we actually find whether their animal remains or not. And that's what we find, be able to find those type of bones, for instance. And also some other things like one time ago, we found the pile of clothing near the well site because of a hasty search. But those searches are important. And we do have line searches where we try to stay in the line. You want to kind of expand on that a little bit, why it's important to try to keep that line long and straight. I know Elaine, if she was here, I probably should have brought her on also. That's very important to her. So, and myself, to make sure that line is straight.
Yeah, it's a great question and a good point for us to cover. There's multiple different kind of searches that you can perform. Things I've learned over the past several months is that you have a hasty search, which is basically you have like a square kilometer, and we assign 10 people to go hike through that kilometer and see what they find. That's generally for like early on in a search. But now we're looking for smaller details, versus looking at the early on in the search. Ms. Robinson, you were looking for a vehicle and a person out there. Today we're looking for smaller details that we would want to pay attention to, and that's where a tighter search is beneficial. And it's more like rather than a bunch of people in a grid searching around, it's like COVID social distancing, right? 6 to 10 feet apart. And that way I can see my line of sight covers an area, and then the next person is also overlapping that line of sight to make sure if there is anything that we're walking through and missing. I got a bunch of notifications on my phone just now. Sorry about if there's any dinging. So there's a line of sight. We're overlapping that visibility out there to make sure that we see every detail of that line, that area, and that's where we're going through systematically. We were talking so many different parts that we'd like to extend, but we need to close off these areas first before we then move over to another area. There's areas north, there's areas south, there's areas a couple miles away that we'd like to take a look at. But we have to systematically go through and look for every square inch that we can.
That's right. And that's the tedious part. People don't understand why. Sometimes they say, "Hey, man, y'all been out in the desert for weeks now, months. It's going on 9 months. Who was out there searching, and that area is huge. I tell people all the time that I'm out there. A lot of times it's so intimidating. I think we finished one area, and then just like the other week, we found that well, now we know it's a mine. Yeah. That had the tire on it. Like, where this place come from, that type deal. So, right around there, you think you're done in one section, and then here it is, another that need to be checked. So,
yeah, I remember when we were out there, and we're like,
where did
this come from?
Right,
How did we miss a mine?
Right. Yeah.
And it's not marked. I've worked with Maricopa County Geological Information Systems, and I've pulled their data to find all the mines. That one's not on there. Right. So there's a lot out there that's why it's important for us to do it. And we found that on a line search.
Yes, yes, and that's the reason why it's important to have line searches. That's one thing. We do have ATV, UTVs traveling, like you said, in different areas where we can't necessarily get to, and so that's the reason why we're working out very hard. I'm working very hard on this end to try to get more people out there, like we did. So I'm always encouraging people who came out last summer, who stopped coming out to the searches for whatever reason. I'm really grateful for the time they did. They gave all they can, so I'm really grateful. But I'm asking if they can again to come out, because what we do is trying our best to get some areas that is very difficult to get line searches done in those areas because of the logistics of getting people in those areas. So in the future, the goal is to hope that we can get people in those areas.
Yeah, if anybody's in like anybody that knows somebody that's in like an ATV group or an off-road group, like share this story with them and say, hey, we need your skills. We need your cars. We need your ATVs. Come on out. If you're going to go out in the desert and drive around anyways, we got a great spot in the desert. It's pretty out there. We'll point you in the right nice spot, and then, like two birds, one stone, go take your side-by-sides out and then help for a good cause.
That's right. And that's it. And, one of the things that we had to stop, and, some of the same reasons why the searches has been changed. We changed it dramatically from what we were doing until what we were doing until what we're doing now. And that's having searches every other week, and to not utilizing those UTV, ATVs anymore as much as I would like to and need to. It was very important to me to have those ATVs, UTVs out there. Is some reasons for safety reasons, and also
for multiple reasons. Yeah, safety for the volunteer logistics. Yeah.
Right, because we did have times where somebody gets hired. We have people from different age ranges that's out there, passionate people, very passionate. Hey, I want to be out there. This is what I'm going to do. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I found out later in knowledge that we even had one lady who's carrying out there. So we want to make sure that every volunteer is safe, and make sure I'd be able to, if something was to go wrong with somebody, we can get them back to the command center. We had a command center up for those reasons, and to make sure that people are safe. So hopefully we can get those back in order. I'm really pushing that really hard, trying to get more participation to the funding to get to continue to search the way they need to be conducted and things like that. And like you said, we definitely invite anybody with a knowledge. I think I have one gentleman, I'm trying to remember his name again, that should be coming out to give us some kind of information, and we encourage that.
I've always if there's somebody that has a better way, like I was showing like the guy GPS and stuff like that, and if somebody's got a better way to do it, let's talk about it. Let's try it. Elaine knows we'll try good ideas. We try bad ideas, on this site. Open to any of the ideas, to touch on the base of what you were just referencing is that we have changed the methods that we've searched. The areas that we're focusing on are a little bit more because we don't have that side-by-side that you're running, because the line searches and the searching out in the desert is very important. In my opinion, you need to be like the forensics, like going through all that stuff. That needs to be done.
Right.
Law enforcement didn't take care of that for you. They should have. Don't get me started there. But now you're having to do that, and that's expensive. And I've seen how much it costs. So that's where I'm like, we'll focus on other areas, and that we can. I got my truck off to the side of the road. We're in, but I still get a little nervous, about not having that side by side out there.
Right. Yeah. And it's very important also to the drone situation that helps out a lot. We do have drone footage. I'm really grateful for those who bring their drones out. You have a drone. I also included a drone in our search. But some of those specialized drones are very important. And I'm working on those. Did have one group, nonprofit group. They have those. I'm still reaching out to them if I can. I reached out a couple times, but after a while, I'm saying, I'm trying to find other avenues to getting those specialized type drones with those certain capabilities. But what we do have now, I think you was able to utilize those drones to help us in our mapping. You probably can speak about that.
Yeah, we have a good buddy who's actually stationed at Luke Air Force Base. He's been coming out, Larry. He's been coming out with his drone. There's several, but he goes and he flies the drone out and he reports back any odd findings that he has. And then we send our special operative Andrew and some other people that they go out and check to see anything that that gets needs a little bit closer look than something 50 to 100 feet up in the air. So it definitely has helped out, especially on the west side of the Hassayampa. Larry's been able to get out there and fly around, and so if you look on the map, there's the area off to the left that's kind of a little bump. That is area that's been covered by those drones. It's definitely big help.
Right, and like you said, that's almost like a scouting mission that's going out and
exactly.
Yeah, so that's very good. That's what we do. But and that's also to help with future missions. But I wanted to when I call it missions, I'm thinking military term. But no. But the thing is, lastly, and I know you need to go, is the areas, the reasonable areas, how our science of searching for Daniel. When I first started the searches, it was based on the well site, and that science was based on how far that vehicle can travel out there in that desert, and that was really huge, because at the time all we knew he left with the vehicle, and how he can get across that terrain or how far he can get. So those searches started off that way, like you say, mostly of trying to locate the vehicle, and also if he got away from the vehicle to search those areas. But that was a long, tedious task because of that thinking at the time until the vehicle showed up, and then we had to change that science to because of the clothing on the ground that suggests that he didn't have anything on. So we say, hey, how far can a person walk with no shoes on their feet, butt naked, and how far can they get in that heat out there without until they drop? So some of those sciences like that, I want you to kind of talk about that for things that that we how we do those things.
Yeah, we've looked at natural pathways on like a walking direction that somebody might take. Right now we've been searching the area that if Daniel was there and then came up from the vehicle and then saw the power lines in the White Tank Mountains and started heading back east, we've line searched all through there. We're getting ready to close up that area. And as I said earlier, that's just one situation, one theory that we've been exploring, and there's a lot of different theories, as a lot of people know.
Right.
And so we've gone for that natural walking path from the vehicle west to the Hassayampa, which is why we want to hit on the west side of the Hassayampa Wash. We haven't really been able to hit over there. That's why it's important for us to get across that wash, to safely get across that wash, to explore across the wash and up into the mountain area that's west. But then then we want to be able to do best effort to say, okay, we walked 3 miles west, and then I know for me, I have always joked, you're like, barefoot, naked, and walking through the desert. For me, it'd be like 10 feet. I'd walk 10 feet. I'm like, I am done because it's rough out there. Right. But Daniel is a younger, vibrant person. Probably get a little bit more than me.
You all say anyway.
Yeah. So we've searched high and low, north, south, and as far as west as we could. There are other theories and areas that we'd like to explore. Other areas like north and south of the area. There's the 11-mile. Right, on the vehicle, that leads us down towards where Tortesa's at, the entrance there, and also even up towards Festival. We'd love to explore, and on the map, the orange stuff on the map is where we'd like to explore further. But we have to do one and then finish one mission and then move on to the next. So that's what we're really hoping to complete that up this weekend.
So needless to say is that's some of the reasons when people say, hey, why this thing takes so long and why we keep doing what we do. It do take a while. It take a while because as we go, we finding new things and we're growing as we're doing this. It's not a quick effort. We're not experts, as we like to say. We're grassroots and we're learning. So, but we're getting better, unfortunately, like you would say. Unfortunately, we're getting better for the wrong reasons, but that's what we do. And hopefully it pays off in the future for other families. But thank you, Mr. Short. Oh, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if we had 200 people every weekend, we'd be able to close out and get split it up. But unfortunately, we work with the resources that God provides us.
And that's right. And again, we definitely do. We just don't know what happens in the morning. We don't know what happens tomorrow morning. We may have almost 50 people there, or we may have 20 people. We just don't know. So we kind of play it by ear. So. Again, thank you so much, and I'm not keep your time, but thank you, sir, for coming on. I'll see you again here on, if you're coming back again, if you like to, next Friday before the search. Well, not next Friday, the Friday after next Friday.
As often as you would like me on, I'd be happy to
I had to keep my mind sharp. That's why I have a team to keep me say, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Robinson, it's not this Friday. Remember you said we're not this Friday. We're gonna keep it every 2 weeks for right now. So. You know, my mind, just like yours, there's always got a lot going on at one time. So thank you so much for being on this morning. Tell your wife, thank you. You know how I feel about Leanne. Tell her, thank you so much for all her hard work, both of your hard work out there in the desert. I really, truly appreciate you.
She's the woman behind the curtain. She's the one
that's right. They keep you straight. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Leanne. All right. Thanks, sir. Right. Thank you for the family for showing up and supporting Mr. Robinson. I really appreciate everybody.
And I really appreciate everybody also. Thank you all. Also, thank you, Mr. Short. Thank you. Again, this is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, and I'm here to do this Q&A. That was Mr. Short. We will have our searches on tomorrow at 6:45 a.m. And if you guys can please come out to help support, just go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you can find out all the information that you need to come out to the searches. Of course, we need everybody we can, just like Mr. Short said. If we get more participation out there, we can cover a lot more ground. I can say again, first starting this thing out there, searching my son, almost like what they said on Dateline thing, it was the truth. You go into panic mode. Here it is, your son, my youngest son, out there somewhere, it's you go into panic mode, go in that mode, and hey, look, I'm going to find my son. The desert is intimidating. It's a lot of land. I sat out there many days on Sun Valley Parkway with binoculars, and only because I know terrain. Former military, and I know playing around with the desert is not something you just play around with. Much as a lot of people like to take risks and do things like that. I was wanting to take a risk at the same time. But just like we do on the safety briefing, it's no need to have a rescue looking for another rescue. So, so I was able to, blessings of God, to be able to start my own searches. It wasn't started by the Buckeye Police Department or no one. I came here not knowing anything. When I say not knowing anything, I have never organized anything in my life like this. Never didn't know anybody here. Just had my daughter. The first days that we got here, my daughter and I, we used to ride around in the entire Phoenix area searching for Daniel. I come out to Sun Valley Parkway, like I said, with those binoculars, and in the cities, we would ride around the cities where you live, the whole city of there, Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix is really large. She tried to find out all the places she think that Daniel like to go to, and when he's at home, he like to hang around Phoenix areas, and we would check places to. I mean, oh my God. I didn't realize how big the Phoenix airport is. We searched I must have paid so many fees to go in these parking garages, but we went to every car, searching every car, every level, every parking space, you name it, making sure that he didn't somehow fly out of state or country or anything. We checked with different local law enforcement agencies to make sure, determine certain things. We went to private parking lots and things like that, just pay fees. Whatever we had to do to try to locate Daniel, and we did a lot of moving around, a lot of mileage to, you name it. But like I said, you go into those modes when you get out in the desert. Only thing at that point was stopping me from my son is that desert. It was looking very intimidating. It didn't look so big when I was looking at it from stuff at the Parkway, but once you get out there, then you realize, wow. And when, like we said before, you think you're done searching, and then lo and behold, there's another area that needs to be searched. So, it seems like it's nonstop, but the numbers matter. The numbers matters. We get participation out there, and we have a system. The system has been working. Thank God, we haven't had anybody having any real issues or anything like that out there in the desert. Like I said, I pushed the time back to 6:45 to get out there in the morning. We try to get people out as fast as possible. We do have some people who's native to Arizona and who go out in these deserts a lot. They will stay along with me. Sometimes we out there too late in the afternoon. But, that's my son. So I have heat training and things like that from the military. So I know the importance of drinking water, how much you are able to do with water, but make sure you replenish that with salts. So we all do carry snacks and water for the volunteers because of that. So you have to get those electrolytes back into your body as you drink water. You don't want to wash all your electrolytes out because you're losing that already by sweating and everything else. So thank you again, you all, for being here for this Q&A. If you have any questions and things like that, please, by all means, put the word question there. If I missed your question while Mr. Short was on, and you have put that up there and I don't see it here, please ask those questions again. Okay, I'm gonna put Leanne's comment to her husband. Yeah, so thank you, Leanne, again for all you do and everything you do. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, also thank you, Sophia. See, that's when I have my team, the A team. Thank you, Sophia. Yeah, we would be having, and that would be coming up an event on the 20th. April 20th would be our next fast day. Fast and prayer. You guys want to join in with us on the 20th? We're gonna try to do it on the Wednesdays and closer to the anniversary of Daniel's disappearance. So, so you guys can remember that April the 20th will be a fast and prayer day. And if you guys can join in with us, me and my team, our team, we just try to make sure that we have that. So thank you. Also, again, thank you again, Leanne, for everything you do in the desert. Thank you. You said thank you to your husband, and thank you. But yeah, we thank you also for you. You're that silent person out there in the desert every week, every time we're out there. And you're out there in that line searching and holding that line together, you and Elaine, you both. And yeah, we do love Leanne, and we love Elaine too, for you both working up those lines, and Eggsy, our search mascot. We love you. We love him too, and want to make sure he's all right. So thank you all for your work out there in the desert searches and helping me find my son. So thank you so much. I appreciate both of you. Hello from Mid Coast, Maine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence here on the Q&A. That's E. Caroline. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And I think I don't have any questions here. Again, my name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. He's my son that went missing out here in Buckeye, Arizona, and on June the 23rd. He was on the work site doing what he does. He's a geologist. He tests the viability of wells. He was out there doing his job where he was at that well site with one other worker from a different company. And that worker, this whole story about what happened to my son is based on what this worker told the police. And so we've been going on this case since then. I've been here since June 26th searching for my son. I've been here so long now. I have a 1-bedroom apartment that you see here now, just to make sure I'm here to fight for my son. I have been relying on people like yourself with donations and support, like we were just talking about Mrs. Short, coming out to the searches and things like that to help me search for my son. So this whole operation of finding Daniel is all because of the blessings that I get from people like yourself. And also the prayers. I mean, all that stuff matters. And I'm really grateful for each and every last one of you. And I'm going to continue to do everything I can to fight for my son. That's the reason why I also I've been passionate. I became really passionate and decided to try to use
my efforts to help other families. Also, I was able to help some other families because of my searches. In my searches, we found some human remains, bring some closure to some family. I know one in particular in Florida, and the rest I don't know who they are. But just the whole fact that those things happen, it shows that just the effort itself can be blessings to other people. And also, I'm also working on really hard with the team that I was speaking of, the team I have behind the scenes, working hard on the foundation that we're trying to bring together. So it's taking some time for all these moving parts from the foundation to myself trying to get the forensics done on the vehicle and the clothing and stuff like that. All that comes with funding and things like that. So trying my best really hard to keep everything rolling. And so that's where we're at. That's where we're at in this thing. But I do have a question here from Cassandra Lee, 1987. Thank you again for being here this morning from the YouTube. The question is, was the land BLM or state land? And that's the thing. If you walk a few feet away from the scene here behind me, you're on BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, and that's federal land. We also have some state land out there, like you said, and that's I see some up on a map north of this area, kind of northwest of this area where the vehicle was found, and those lands need to be we search. Like there's some lands also area that need to be searched. I did find some things just using on state land that using a razor that we were just speaking about as a vehicle that we use out there in the terrain to get around. So I was out there with some volunteers, and we riding down the Hassayampa River, and that's some of the area of state land we was going through at the time, and found abandoned pickup truck, a red pickup truck at that. But we determined that the red transfer paint most likely didn't come from that vehicle. That vehicle, believe it or not, even though it was abandoned and the axles was all torn and all that kind of stuff, the paint job was pretty much flawless, amazingly. And so we kind of ruled that out as a transfer paint from that vehicle to Daniel. So at the time, but that vehicle was also came back stolen. So the owners of that vehicle was able to be contacted, and they was able to, I hope so, to retrieve their possession. So I know it's gonna be costly to get it fixed, but but they were able to get notified. So thank you so much for your question, Cassandra. Some of that land is out there is BLM and some state and some private. So it's a little mixture of everything out there. So thank you again. Again, if you guys have questions, just like Cassandra did, hit the word question first, followed by your question, or you can do what Gwen have here, put a big question mark there before your question. That can help me see your question so I don't miss it. That helped out a lot. Also, you can just, thank you, Gwen, also for all your hard work in the background. And, but there's different ways if you guys want to ask a question, I can see it. You're welcome, Leanne. I really appreciate it. And yeah, you do make a good team. Yeah. Just the fact that we're out there, a novice starting off a search. I remember when I met you and your husband the first time out there, you guys came out to one of my searches, and your husband saved the day. I don't know if you really, I tell the story anyway, the way I know it. And he saved the day when I was out there new searches and trying to navigate how to get people distributed into different areas, and he was able to stand up and help out, and he's been on since. And you both been on since, so really grateful. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications. Thank you, you're new, for your work, and also make sure you handle the comment session. Also being one of the moderators, I really appreciate it. Caroline, thank you for being here, and thank you, Gisla, for Grizzly True Crime. Yeah, Ezzy is our search mascot. That's Elaine's little puppy, and well, we call him a little puppy, but he's a big dog. But he's a big little puppy, and but he's out there every week helping us in search. Even at one point found some remains for us. So really love that dog. So thank you again. I have a question here from Lakeisha. Thank you, Lakeisha, for your question, and thank you for again. I say this every week. Thank you for your hard work and everything you do with these flyers that you pass out every day for us. What is the core of the foundation for Daniel? The core, first of all, is one thing is to help me also on this in the endeavor to find Daniel would be under that foundation. First of all, the second thing is to take everything that I have, the knowledge that I have so far and gain, is to help other families, and that will help other families. You know, what I'm saying we're trying to make sure we provide equipment, things like that for families who definitely need help and searches. They don't have to go through the same thing I did. So the whole core of this foundation is to help other families not to have to go through the same thing when lack of law enforcement is involved, and they're really passionate about trying to find a loved one, and we can help in other ways, just like any other foundation, be able to help another family in situations like this. Because I'm telling you guys, it's not easy. It's very hard. It's very hard. Like I said, if you guys, I don't wish it on anybody, but if you're definitely in this position, you'll be doing the same exact thing I'm doing, trying hard as you can. You know, some people handle things different. I know you guys see a swelling of family standing here behind me and things like that. But you know what? Daniel's my son. He's my son. And, I'm his father. I know it sounds like a broken record, but that's my feelings. And nobody or anyone would stop me from searching for my son. So that is me. That's me personally. I can't speak for anybody else, whether in my family or not, whether it's his mother or anything. So I only can speak for myself. Now I can tell you from my opinions and what I see, of course, we all are suffering, and I know we are. I know the family are suffering. We express that a lot. So, but you know what? I'm just a different man. I'm going to be out here on the ground. I'm going to drop whatever I got going on in my life and try my best to find my son. He needs me and I need him. So that's my job, my duty, and also my honor to do this. And it's my birthright to be able to do it. So thank you, Lakeisha, for your question. That would be the core foundation of the foundation. The core reason for having the foundation is those reasons. So thanks so much. I really appreciate your question. Also, I have thank you for Ruthie for being here this morning off of Facebook, and thank you for your compliment. I really appreciate that because I told you guys give me some feedback that helps me morally. I think you say that too, and I keep saying, oh no, there's a lot of fathers out there, and I suspect that any father who's a good father would be doing the same thing I'm doing. Any mother, and it's almost automatic. I would tend to think, at least I hope so, and to believe that a mother have a natural instinct that would actually make sure that she work hard to try to find her son. I've seen Jelani Day's mother. I don't want to bring that up. Forgive me. I hope she forgive me for saying that, but I've seen her passion and what she's going to find her son, and that's what mothers do. I'm just using that example as what mothers would do when their son or her son was missing, and at the time, she's out there working hard. It's sad to say the things they're going through. We're not going to go into that, but you know what? It's just that there's some things you just do for your child or the person that you love. You're going to do whatever, anything you can. And I had someone ask me, David, is there ever a time? And this was early on when they asked me that. And this crazy part, I was asked this. I would say about 3 months in. Is there a time that you just throw in the towel, for instance? I did all I can do and just kind of move on with life or something. I mean, that's a hard saying. That's not something that at the time and even now that I can even imagine in my brain. To even say that, because that's just like asking some of these families who've have a loved one that's been missing for years. I have the lady that came down to Florida that I was talking to, for instance, that claimed one of these remains that we found out there. She was talking to me as if it happened yesterday, and she said it's her brother, and but anyway, it just is it's hard. It's hard just to hear people their passion, hear them about what goes on in their mind. And, just the thought of the possibility of this being with Daniel, it's very hard to even think that. My goal is to find Daniel as soon as possible. And that's what I will do. Hopefully it don't take years. And, and if it did, who can tell a person when to stop grieving or when to stop looking or whatever the fact may be, because if it was you out there and you stuck somewhere or something happened and you want somebody to come find you, I'm sure of that. I don't think it's anybody would be somewhere and hope that nobody come looking for them. So, anyway, I want to get off of that because it's a little hard thinking. So, thank you so much. The fast and the fast and prayer for Daniel hashtag. That kind of messed me up a little bit, everybody. So please forgive me on that. Just the thought. It's very hard. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here this morning. Thank you, TT, for being here this morning. Yes, I'm gonna have to get ready to get off here, y'all. Anyway, thank you so much for this coming out this evening. This day for Q&A. I apologize, you guys. That kind of messed me up mentally, and I have to get off for a second. But thank you all for being here this morning and showing in the Q&A. God bless you.